Hey guys, today I have a brand new MSI gaming laptop. It's the new MSI GF65 thin. I'm going to do some upgrading to it, open it up, show you what's inside, and then I'm going to do a fresh clean install of Windows 10. Let's get started. Alright guys, Dale here. Thanks for watching. Like I said, I have a brand new MSI GF65 thin. The exact model is GF65 thin 95 EXR-250. That's the model of this gaming laptop. It's got the RTX 2060 NVIDIA graphics, 9th generation Intel Core i7 9750H 6-core CPU, the GeForce RTX 2060 with 6 gigabytes of DDR6. This model comes with a 512 gigabyte solid state NVMe drive and 8 gigabytes of DDR4 memory, 2666. That's what I'm going to be upgrading as a solid state to a 1 terabyte. This laptop weighs just a hair over 4 pounds. It's about 4.1 pounds. Has 11.4 volt battery. I think it's around 52 watt hours, 3-cell battery. It's got a full 1080p IPS 120 hertz display. Really nice looking screen, pretty fast. On the side over here on the left, we have the power cord connector right here on the side. And we got an HDMI port on this side. And then over here we have, of course, Ethernet, which is awesome. Got a gold stereo headphone jack here, so if you got really good quality headphones, this should work good for you. A couple of USB A style ports 3.1, 2 C-type USB 3.2 ports, so that's nice. And the backlit keyboard. But like I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade it, and in this case, because it is brand new out of the box, I'm going to do a clean install of Windows 10, the 2004 edition. So the first thing I'm going to do is shut down the laptop. Then I'm going to open it up and show you what's going on inside. Alright, got it all shut down, but before I'm going to flip it over here. I've removed all the screws. They're all the same length. There are 12 screws of the same length. I left these back 3 in here. I'm going to take those out in just a second, but I want to show you the parts that I'm going to put in. I have a Corsair 32 gigabyte kit here, or I'm sorry, 2 16 gig sticks of Corsair DDR4 that I'm going to put in there, 2666. There's 8 gigs in there right now, but this way we can have good dual channel, total of 32 gigabytes of memory. I believe this model will support up to 64 gigabytes. And the new SSD that I'm going to put in, the NVMe, it's a Gen 3 x 4. It's the XPG SX8200 Pro from ADATA. It's a 1 terabyte. The 512 I'm going to leave in there because this model has 2 NVMe M.2 slots, and I'll show you that once I open it up. So we're going to end up with about 1.5 terabytes of storage on the inside when all is said and done. But I'm going to install the Windows on this drive right here, the 1 terabyte new one. So I'm going to take out these 3 screws in the back here. And always make sure you're in a good anti-static environment, which I am. My bench tops, my floors are all anti-static. This is a very soft bench top. Nothing's going to get scratched or damaged. It's built for that. The power brick that comes with this laptop, I want to show you. It's not too bad. It's pretty good size, but it's nice and thin, so to speak. Just want to show you that. Get rid of these screws here, guys. These are a little tricky to get open. I've done 3 or 4 of these, I believe. Everyone's a little different. Some are real easy, some are a little stubborn. So we got all the screws out, and you can see there's really good ventilation under here. And underneath, right here in this vented area, you can see the M.2 drive in there. Then there's an empty slot right next to it. So we're going to have both those slots filled, and you're going to get pretty good airflow right here to keep these things fairly cool. And you can see all the copper piping inside as well. So they've done a pretty good job of getting this thing ventilated down here. I like that. So the first piece, what we have to do is this trim piece right here by the hinges. This has to come off. And I just use my little plastic spudger tool here. There's a seam along the back here. Right along the back here, we're going to get it in there and be very careful. I got to flip it over here, guys. Just kind of get it started. You can hear it clicking. So carefully, it kind of goes in and down. So just kind of carefully wiggle it out of there, just like that. You don't want to break these little plastic clips off. It'll still go back in, but it won't go back in right. And here's one of the Wi-Fi antenna wires in the back here, the other one's inside. So we got that piece off. Just be careful of your screen wires and stuff like that here when you got that open. So I'm going to take my spudger tool and I'm going to get in the seam along one of the edges here and get it started. Now on this side, this bottom pan, it's molded around these C-type ports and the Ethernet ports. So you got to be really careful taking it off and putting it back on. We don't break that plastic there. So I'm going to go over on this side, get my spudger in there, in the seam. Just kind of start working it up here. It breaks loose pretty good in the front, but at this point you can see you don't want to just be prying that off because of the way it's molded around those ports. You don't want to damage those ports. And the same along the back here. We have to get it broke loose. Just a little bit of fudging, not too bad though, to get that started. So this is what I wanted to show you though. When you lift this up, you have to kind of lift it up and take out. When you put it back in, we're going to start in from this side. So there, we have that out of the way. First thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to disconnect the battery over here on the motherboard. Now, like I said, I've done several of these and these are a pain in the butt to get out, so you have to be careful. This is your 3-cell battery. There's some adhesive on the back side, so you want to be careful, but it's got a little bit of wiggle room to it. Here's our 2 RAM slots. Here's our 8 gig stick that we're going to take out, and over here are the 2 M.2 slots. Now, the way MSI did this is the 512 that's in there now. This is a combo slot. This will take an M.2 SATA drive or an M.2 NVMe PCI Express drive. This slot here is strictly for PCI Express, and it's marked on the motherboard PCIe only. And underneath the battery here, if you lifted the battery up, it's printed on the board here that this is a combo slot. And of course, you got your CPU and GPU, a couple of fans, got your Wi-Fi card that could be upgraded to Wi-Fi 6. This has Wi-Fi 5 in it currently. But I got to get this battery disconnected here, guys, before we do anything else. Like I said, these can be a little stubborn. Sometimes they come right out, sometimes they don't. Well, this one might come out kind of easy. Sorry, my hand's in the way. But it pulls straight back. See, I don't give you a lot of wiggle room here. I'm using a very pointy plastic tool to get that disconnected. So we have the battery disconnected now. So the first thing I'm going to do is open up. I think I already broke this loose. My drive. Try not to touch the connections on the drive if you can help it. For the price of these laptops of this model here and what you get with the RTX 2060 graphics, it's actually a pretty good bargain, you know, for something that's 2060. Just want to get these RAM sticks out of here, guys. Gonna get rid of the 8 gig stick that's in here. Like I said, this board will support, you could put 2 32s in there if you wanted to, and dual channel. Things open is a pain in the butt sometimes. I think I drank too much coffee this morning. That's okay. Keeps me sharp. Alright. So there is a mounting screw in this empty slot right here they gave you, so that's nice for the other M.2 drive. I'm going to remove this one. I believe this will be drive 0 and this is going to be drive 1. I'm going to move this one over, the 512, into that empty slot carefully. See, it just plugs right back in. I'm going to put my new drive in the 0 slot there. It really don't matter because you can install Windows on either one of these and it's still going to work just fine. Alright guys, we're going to put in the new 1 terabyte XPG Pro here in this other slot. Just make sure it goes in good. Not too tight. So there, we got that in. Now we're going to pop in our new memory here. You can see it only goes in one way. I'm going to put in a 16 over here, right next to the battery. This is the Corsair Vengeance RAM. It's 2666, just like I took out. So there's our RAM. So having done all that, we're good to go to hook the battery back up here. Again, you just got to kind of fudge it in there, but it will go. Just not a lot of extra wiggle room here. Got to kind of get it in even. Be careful of the wires, you don't want to break those off. Make sure it goes in all the way. See, I got it in there, okay? So now we're ready to button it back up. I'm not going to put all the screws back in it, but I am going to put the bottom panel on and those other 3 screws I took out. So we're going to start on this side. You just have to get this lined up around those ports. Take your time with it. And the audio jack there, it's a little difficult sometimes. Kind of there. So we got it in around the ports just fine. So carefully start snapping it back in. Don't squeeze too hard on the lid because you got a screen in there. It's pretty solid, but still be conscious of that. Everything's. Those are the clicks we want to hear. Right, I'm going to put these 3 screws in the back here because there's a lot of stress on those hinges. When I open the lid up, I want to make sure that we're secured back here. We're going to do a clean install, get all the updated drivers. I'm going to go to NVIDIA's website and get the RTX 2060 mobile drivers, the game ready drivers. Not the Microsoft ones from Windows Update, but the actual ones right from NVIDIA's website. They're free and easy to download, so we got those 3 screws back in. Now I'm going to put this piece of trim back in. You can see on each end here there's a little plastic tab sticking out here. I don't know if you can see that, but there's 2 of them on each end. This is going to kind of go back in and then down. Get this over here, hopefully you can see it. Just don't force it. Goes in pretty easy to get it lined up right. So there, we got that back in. So now I'm going to plug in my power brick here. Alright guys, so I got it buttoned back up. We're going to boot off our Windows 10 USB flash drive that I created using the Windows 10 media creation tool that you can download for free. I have videos on how to make one of these. It's quite simple and it's of course free. It's Windows 10. So I'm going to stick it in the USB port over here. Power it on, and I'm going to start tapping the F11 key here to get to our boot menu. Alright, so we got the Windows Boot Manager, and the second choice is our Kingston flash drive. I'm going to choose it and hit enter to boot off of that. Windows 10, we're going to do 64-bit. These installs go really quick on these types of computers, or anything with a solid state for that matter. Then once I get Windows installed, of course, I'll get all the updates. I'm going to go to MSI's website, grab a couple of things. And mainly, I'm going to get the new GeForce 2060 RTX graphics driver right from NVIDIA's website. Just go to their GeForce drivers download section. It's for the mobile graphics. Click install now. Microsoft will install their default driver, but I like to get the newest game ready driver right from NVIDIA. Alright, accept the license agreement. Okay, we're going to go to custom here. Alright, so what I'm going to do basically is I'm going to delete all these partitions. This last one on the list here is our new solid state drive, 953.9 gigabytes. I'm going to wipe that other 512 in there. I'm just going to remove all these partitions because we're going to have that just as an extra drive for storage or whatever you want to put on it or install on it, you can. Alright, so we're going to end up with two drives here. We got our drive 0 is our 512, drive 1 is our brand new XPG drive we just put in, so I'm going to hit next. And you can see it's going to start the Windows install process. So I'm going to let this go, guys. It won't take but a few minutes actually, and get Windows installed. Be right back in just a second. Alright guys, it just got all the files installed. That took literally probably less than 2 minutes. We can remove our flash drive now at this point in the install. Just going to walk it through a quick setup here. But you definitely want to get the new drivers right from NVIDIA's website for your 2060 RTX graphics. The MSI Dragon Center, it's called, control panel is available to download right through the Microsoft Store for free. I'm not real impressed with it. It gets quite low reviews. Sometimes it don't work, sometimes it does. I really think it just depends on each individual different computer or user for that matter. But if you want to get it, if you go to MSI's website in their download section, all that stuff is all now available through the Microsoft Store. There's very little to download from MSI for this laptop. Alright. Currently I'm not connected to the internet. You don't need to be connected to the internet to do an install, and it should still just activate just fine because it had Windows 10 already. Almost there. I just wanted to see so you can see me walk through this quick setup here, guys. So I'm going to choose US. Skip additional layouts. All this stuff can be changed later in settings. I'm going to tell it I don't have internet. Go with limited. Put in user. No password. I like to turn all this stuff off just for privacy. You can leave your location on if you want. Alright, so we're going to let that finish up. Get into Windows, check our RAM status, allocate that other drive, that 512 gigabyte NVMe drive. Gonna have a really nice laptop here. The customer that bought it just wants a fresh clean install to start putting their own stuff on it. But like I said, I'm going to get everything else as far as drivers and Windows updates, of course. This is a 2004 edition of Windows 10 I'm installing. It's not too difficult of an upgrade for you. You don't have to have two M.2 drives in there, of course. But in this case, we had an extra 512, so we might as well just leave it in there. Alright. Now you can see it's searching for the display driver. We don't care about that right now. No, don't worry about that. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go to my, just go to system real quick. If you want to come in here, you can see it's showing we have 32 gigabytes of memory. There's our processor specs right there. So I'm going to go back here to the start menu. I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to choose disk management right here. Make it full screen. Alright, so here's our C drive with our Windows installed, the new 1 terabyte, and here's the 512 unallocated, so I'm just going to right click on it. And you can partition this up if you want, but I'm not going to in this case. New simple volume. Click next. Click next. Click next. NTFS, finish. It's going to do a quick format. Alright, so now I'll just open up File Explorer, go to this PC, and here's our two drives, our 1 terabyte and our 512, good to go. I'll open up Task Manager really quick. Go to Performance, I'll click on Memory, and here's our memory shown here, 32 gigs, 2667. And of course it is in dual channel. So there's a nice upgrade to a MSI GF65 thin laptop. Got 32 gigs of RAM, 1.5 terabytes of overall storage. Fresh clean install of Windows 10. I hope this video was helpful, guys. Check out these laptops, they're really nice. Check out more of my videos. Don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate y'all watching and have a great day.